All right, so this is my final project presentation for our aesthetics class this year. Um, for my project, I decided to write a couple of sonnets. Um, I always really liked poetry, and I thought I'd challenge myself a little bit with something a little more strict. Free verse poetry, I think, is really fun and a really good way of expressing yourself, but I thought that I'd do something maybe a little bit more challenging. So I wrote a couple of sonnets for my final project. I'm definitely no Shakespeare by any means, but hopefully you enjoy them. So I'll start out and I'll read them at the beginning, and then I'm gonna analyze them after and talk about some of the topics that we talked about in class that I thought were really central to this work. So, without further ado, the first one is called Overcast Emotions. The rising sun fails to brighten the day. Looking outside upon a wet gray sky, the passing rain makes my soul fade away. Feeling sad and lonely, the heavens cry. A steady drumroll assaults my shy ears, so when I cannot see, it's pouring still. This dreary day will devour all cheers. Waiting for the light to come, it never will. But without darkness, there could be no light. The naked earth needs water to survive. Hiding in the clouds, the sun still shines bright. I know this sadness makes the planet thrive. At first, it is hard to see bad as good. Just be patient, you'll see it as you should. And then the second one I wrote also was about nature, but instead of about a rainy day, I wrote about a winter day because I like winter a lot more than I like rain. So the second one is called Winter Lust. The first snowfall of the year coats the ground. Looking at the sky, I am amazed. Sip hot chocolate, listen to the sound. Sit back in my chair, watch as vision fades. Keon weeps, and the snowflakes get heavy. I feel an urge to get back to my youth. Sled the hills, build snowmen by the levee. Snow makes some sad, but in dark I see truth. Strange, but the cold makes me feel warm inside. Skiing with dad, wrapping presents with mom. One finds light in dark by asking God why, as I watch snowflakes dancing like prom. Many love summer, spring, and leaves of fall. Memories of winter, I put overall. So those were the two sonnets that I wrote for my final project. I really like nature. I'm really inspired by nature and the changing seasons and stuff like that. So that's what I chose to write about. So now I'm going to give a little bit of an analysis of some of the points that we had discussed in class that I thought were pretty central to this artwork. So to start off, I thought that both of these sonnets obviously showed some aspects of Plato's form and proportion. So obviously sonnets are written in iambic pentameter. They follow a specific rhyme scheme and format. We all know that. So this is a more restrictive style than something like free verse, and it requires a little bit more thought and attention to the basic form and the proportions and the rhyme scheme and stuff like that. So that was the first one that I had found. After that, still going off of Plato's ideas, I think that there are some aspects of tension and harmony here. In the first sonnet, talking about the rainy day, there's a balance of tension and harmony going on. In the beginning, the rain is painted as something negative. I really dislike the rain personally. So the words like assaulting my ears, making my soul fade away, stuff like that, creates a sense of tension and negativity to it. But then towards the end, in maybe the last quatrain and the final couplet, we see that it's something that's necessary and there is some good that comes out of it, despite us thinking that it's really bad. So there's an element of tension and harmony there. Also, I thought these sonnets showed some of Aristotle's narrative unity, specifically unity of action, would be present in both of these sonnets. in the second sonnet, Winterlust, there's definitely more explicit actions taking place, more than in the first one that I had written. But either way, both all have actions which are pretty relevant to the main topic, and they don't stray off in different directions and things like that. After this, I saw some aspects of Ficino's abstraction of time and space to reach the spirit or God. In the first one, Overcast Emotions, the rainy day is abstracted, and I compare it to the heavens crying. And the overcast day is setting a mood that makes my soul kind of fade away. And it just kind of feels like the heavens are sharing in that, and they're crying. And then the second one, we talk about how winter is the darkest time of the year, really short days. And this dark time is sad for a lot of people. A lot of people really don't like the winter. It's cold and it's bitter. But even in the darkness, we look for God to show us the way. I had a line about that in the second sonnet that I had written. And I think this is really true. And also, this is probably a really good reason for why Christmas is during the darkest time of the year, to brighten up our spirits in the holiday season. Also, I saw elements of Schelling's genius in this, although obviously I am no genius. But I did see some elements of genius here, insofar as the sonnets are written finitely about what seem to be pretty simple topics: a rainy day and a snowy day. But it goes much deeper than this. And in the first sonnet that I had written, Overcast Emotions, I was really trying to symbolize hardships that everyone suffers in life, more so than just a rainy day. Everyone has bad days, everyone suffers misfortune, hardships, to some degree or another. And often it's difficult to see good in these things. Why me? Why did this happen? And I compared that to rain because I really don't like rain. I know when I wake up in the morning on a rainy day, kind of just takes a little bit out of me. And I compared it to rain because I thought it was a really good example to show how there are some things in our life that seem bad at first glance, but perseverance will show that a lot of times that there are good outcomes to bad things. And I thought rain was a really good way to show that because I guess April showers bring May flowers, and it's hard to look past the immediate depression and grayness of a rainy day, but if you look deeper into it, you'll understand that it's all for a purpose, and it's a necessary thing after a really long and harsh winter for the earth to replenish itself with this water. So I thought that there was an element of genius here where the finiteness of the rainy day is representing more generally an infinite number of possibilities of hardships and misfortunes that we can suffer. Also, I thought another important aspect of this was Hegel's romantic art. So obviously we talked about how Hegel would classify poetry as romantic art because the ideas presented within them surpass their objectification. So in the first sonnet, representing hardships and negative events, it's more than just a rainy day. It's trying to represent something a lot deeper than that. And in the second sonnet as well, although we're talking just about a winter day and how it makes me feel, it symbolizes something deeper than this, and how things can be more than the sum of their parts. So for me, winter isn't really just a season, it's a reminder of all the great memories and the times that I've shared with people who are really close to me. And although a lot of people don't really like winter, I really enjoy it. We used to go skiing a lot and have a lot of fun in the winter time, especially up in New England. So it's something that I don't take for granted every year. I try to enjoy it as much as I can. And then lastly, one of the last things that I found was pretty essential to this work was some of the conditions for Tolstoy's infectiousness of art. And so one of the conditions I thought that I satisfied pretty well was clarity. I think that both of these poems are pretty clear. They don't go off topic or have things in them that aren't relevant to the main point. And I thought that this was kind of similar to Aristotle's narrative unity, which I talked about at the beginning of this. And in addition to that, another condition of infectiousness for Tolstoy was sincerity. And I thought that both of these poems came from a really sincere place. I genuinely disliked the rain. So I used that energy to try and reach for something deeper than just a rainy day. I really tried to use that emotion to talk about things that are a lot deeper than really just a rainy day. And obviously for winter, there are a lot of really good memories that I have of skiing with my family and sledding and building snowmen and things like that. So I thought that both of these came from a really soft spot in my heart, and I thought that they were really sincere and they reflected something that was deeper than their own reality. So that's about all I have for both of these sonnets, and I hope you enjoyed them. Thank you.